Hello! Today we are going to be doing some alterations. One of my coworkers sent a shirt that she wants hemmed and her grandson's sweatpants that he wants pockets in. So what we're going to do for the pockets is we've got a few options. We've got 3 different colors of plain weave cotton, light gray that matches the sweatpants kind of, a darker gray, or maroon, since their school colors are maroon and gray. Or another option is I've got a lightweight sweatshirt style material, but I don't think it's heavy enough for pockets. So I think what we're going to do for his pockets is we're going to go with one of the cottons, and I think probably the lightest one would work best, so then they aren't quite as noticeable, since his sweatpants do not have a side seam in them. So we're essentially going to have to build in welt pockets for his sweatpants. And then for Coral's shirt, it is 3 inches longer than what she needs, so we're going to hem it up 2 inches, so cut 2 inches off and do a hem that is an inch fold. So let's get started. So starting first with the easier alteration is we're going to hem up Coral's shirt. So on our hem guide, we are going to mark 2 inches, and then we're going to go along the edge here and mark up 2 inches where to cut, and then we'll mark another inch up so we know where the fold line needs to be. Let's grab a piece of chalk and start marking. So we're going to start with the points at the original edge and just start going along, marking 2 inches up. Slowly connecting the line, so then we have an even hem all the way around. So front side is marked. Now we're going to flip it over and do the back side. And by the way, happy 4th of July. If you hear those booms in the background, don't mind them. They're just the dumb neighbors blowing up their money. So make sure that you go through and connect your line thoroughly so that you know exactly where to cut. And then we're going to mark now up to 3 inches, and we just go along. We don't have to connect this one because that'll just kind of give us a guide so that we know where the new edge of the shirt needs to be. And we'll do this on both sides before we cut. So the next step is we're going to get out our fabric shears and we're going to cut. And we'll just start right there. Remember, snip, snip, snip. Don't cut the tip. Your fingertip is very useful, along with many other tips that get snipped. Alright, one side cut. Now we flip over and do the other side. Boom. There goes 20 bucks. I don't understand it. Yeah, when I was younger, when things were less expensive, it was fun to go out and light off fireworks and do it safely. But you know, with climate change and the fact that here in Washington State, because of El Nino, we are in a massive drought, and people don't even realize that, you know, our winter was completely dry and our groundwater is gone by mid-August. Like, most of the aquifers will be running dry and they'll have to be rationing water. And, you know, we're just gonna burn. So now we've got the 2 inches taken off. And we are going to take this to the machine and just zigzag the edge of the material just to give it a nice clean finish. Okay, so now we have gone through, zigzag the edge just so we don't get any possible fraying in the future. And now we're going to turn up the hem to a 1-inch, pin it, and then we're going to stitch along where we zigzagged, and then we will have our finished hem. So honestly, there are a couple ways I could do this. One of the ways that, a lot of them will do a zigzag stitch, which will overcast and catch this. Jersey fabric tends to stretch, and if you do a tight, straight stitch, that stretching will cause the stitches to break. So, that's why they say do a zigzag, because zigzag stitches have a little more give to them. Or, they do the double needle stitch, because then what is overcasting is a zigzag on one side and straight stitches on the other, because the way that the bobbin hooks around both threads. I'm not doing that, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my straight stitch, and since I have it kind of lined up center with this foot, so then I can kind of stay on track, we're going to go in to our settings, and we're going to go up to a length of 4 millimeters. That way it gives a little more give, and the stitches won't pop as easily if it's pulled. So here we go. Take your time, go slow, 'cause we have hyperdrive in editing. What the hell is that? Sounds like there is a freaking tractor going down my road. Can't see anything though. Oh my god. Weird sounds in this neighborhood this week. Okay, we have now successfully gone around and sewn up our hem here. And now all we need to do is just give it a little bit of a press, and we're done. Green. Green means go. We're ready. We're ready. We can do it. We're ready. We're ready. We can do it. Okay, so for the pockets, I think I'm going to go 2 inches down from the waistband, because usually there's about that, and then we'll probably do a 6-inch slit, because my hand is we'll do a 5.5-inch slit. So right here, I'm just gonna mark a dot, and then we're going to go down 5.5, mark another dot, and we are going to draw a line. So the pocket is going to be stitched on the front, on these, and then you cut open, turn it inside out, do a little foldy fold, and then you stitch around. Good enough. Let's get this fucker started. So now we have our pocket pieces pinned to the fabric. What we're going to do is we're going to stitch around the outside, and then we're going to cut open the inside. We have our pocket pieces stitched onto the outside, and we're going to have to turn them to the inside after slitting this open. Make sure you don't cut your fingertips when you snip, snip, snip. Be very careful. You don't want to, cut too far, and you want to snip into your corners, but do not clip the thread. Line up and snip, and snip. Now we're going to take the whole pocket piece and turn it to the inside of the pants. This is where we're going to work on it for the rest of the project. You want to make sure that everything is turned nice and straight so that we can press the edges and start to build our pocket. Since we are working on cotton, we are going to heat our iron up to the hottest setting for a nice crisp press. And you're going to press 3 sides nice and flat, and then we are going to fold the 4th side over and press it, creating the welt for the pocket. Once we have that nice and pressed, we're going to pin everything into place and start to stitch up the excess folds of the fabric so that we have a nice and smooth pocket interior. So flipping to the back side of the pocket, we are going to take the triangles that were left from opening the pocket hole and stitch those down on each end. And then we are going to do a quick stitch down to close up the pleat that was formed by the welt of the pocket. But first, I'm going to finish trimming my threads here because we are not heathens and we do not leave threads. Coming in as voiceover Derek, what we are doing here is we are top stitching around the opening of the welt pocket to ensure that the pocket opening is nice, secure, and will not shift out of place. After we have that all nice and stitched on both sides, we then clip our threads. We are now going to assemble the actual bag of the pocket. For the top of the pocket, we just run a quick straight stitch, trim off the excess fabric, and then we overcast the edge with a zigzag stitch. Moving to the back side of the pocket, we're going to sew this up with a straight stitch, making sure to catch the base fabric from the pants. Once we have that, we are going to trim out the excess layers down, fold over, and enclose the raw edges using a felling seam. For the bottom seam of the pocket bag, we are going to trim up the material, make sure that everything is even, fold it over twice to create a nice and secure enclosed hem seam. Go backwards and forwards and then we are done! Alright, so here we have Coral's shirt all nice and hemmed up, 3 inches shorter so it'll fit her properly instead of being way too long. And then we have her grandson's sweatpants, now with pockets, big enough to hold a full-size phone, and stylish enough he will be the envy of the wrestling team. And it took me a month before I finally got to this because I went on vacation down to the Redwoods. And on the way I got myself a cute little redwood shot glass that I'm going to turn into a pin holder just by stuffing it with some foam wrapped in fabric and stuck in there. I also got myself 2 cute little wooden containers. They were marketed as toothpick holders, but I'm going to use them for sewing needles. And also, for the South Drive-Thru Treat in Leggett, at their gift shop, I got 2 brand new redwood seam rippers and then a redwood pen and pencil set. Pretty darn cool, along with a thimble featuring the Drive-Thru Treat. And then on the way back, at a little roadside shop, I got myself this cute little box made of redwood, hand carved. So that video will be coming up probably next week. And then after that, I've got to get my mannequin tackled to where it is sized up to my current size, which I still have been procrastinating on because I don't want to face the fact that I've gotten bigger. But you know, it's been 6 years since I padded it to the size it is, where I was about 40 pounds lighter. There goes some more fireworks. So happy 4th of July. Bye! I'm a freaking circus clown. Amateur circus clown. I like to be performative. I'm a freaking drag queen. Can you not tell by my page? Oh my god. Oh. The neighbor's chickens are always in my yard.